In the last videos, we talked about your overall strategy for film festivals and what you should prepare before you start submitting. Now it's time to fire off some submissions. So you've got all your materials and you're ready to fill out a ridiculous amount of online submission forms.
Nice.
Now the further you go, the harder it's going to be to maintain a clear overview of your submissions. Sure, if you're only using one platform like Film Freeway, you have your overview right there in your account. But a lot of important festivals aren't on Film Freeway. Maybe they're on Short Film Depot. Maybe they're not on a platform at all and you need to submit to them individually.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Hey, if it wasn't for hurdles, everyone would be an Olympian. But this makes it kind of difficult to remember which ones you submitted to. On top of that, film festivals have a submission window, so it's very likely that you can't just sit down and submit to all the festivals you want at once. This is where you can get ChatGPT to make a nice spreadsheet for you with all the info you need. You just need to decide what key information you need and then list the film festivals you want to submit to. Of course, ChatGPT is going to get half the information wrong, even though you specified to extract the data from the official websites of the respective festivals, so you're going to have to correct half of it. But at least it saves you a bit of time making the table. Make sure to include a column for the submission fees and a total at the bottom so we can see how it fits into your budget. Now you can occasionally check on the spreadsheet to see if new festival windows opened up that you should be submitting to, or if you should be expecting an answer soon regarding your judgment status. Bonus points if you can set up an automated reminder system. Some of the submission platforms have that, but you could somehow integrate it into the spreadsheet, but I haven't gotten around to that.
Okay.
You've got your film, you've got your submission materials and deliverables, and now you've got a framework for an overview of the key information for the festivals you'd like to submit to. But now we have to start taking a closer look at these festivals in order to submit to them. Every festival has requirements, rules, and regulations, and they're not always the same. Some are more strict than others, usually depending on their status in the industry. What's important is that you always double check these requirements and guidelines before submitting, or else you could just as well throw your submission fee out the window.
Don't do that.
So we have to talk about premiere status. This refers to whether your film has been screened publicly or otherwise made available to see prior to your submission. The first ever showing of your film is your world premiere. The first showing in a country outside of your country is an international premiere. The first showing in your country is your national premiere. This can be divided up in any number of ways, but what's important is that some festivals will require a specific premiere status for your film to play there. They want to have something unique to offer with regard to their selection, so premiere status is valuable to them. This is generally the case for bigger, more renowned festivals. Some small festivals won't care if you've already screened your film. But what does this mean for your strategy, practically speaking? Well, in your list of festivals, you need to decide which festivals are most important for your film and your goals. You need to have a hierarchy, because if the first festival that accepts your film is some small festival that you premiere at, then it could be the case that a bigger festival that accepts your film later won't play your film because you already gave up your premiere status. So if you get accepted into a smaller festival, you need to ask yourself, do I just accept this now and roll with it, or do I reject it and risk waiting for a bigger festival that might end up rejecting me? It's just a risk versus reward trade-off. Keep in mind that different festivals have different requirements, so make sure to check the premiere status requirements before you make any rash decisions, because premiere status might not even be an issue for you. Overall, I would say apply to your ideal film festivals first, generally the bigger ones with stricter requirements. Assess the timing of their deadlines and go from there. Smaller festivals are less picky about premiere status and how recently your film was made anyway, so leave them for later. Keep in mind your film completion date. Some festivals will only accept films from the preceding year, and some are more flexible. There are a few of these kinds of basic criteria that you just can't avoid. They have a clear distinction and you either qualify or you don't. Things like runtime, country of production, the audio and subtitle languages. But these are things that'll be obvious once you read the rules and regulations of the festival. That's really the main takeaway here. I can tell you this shit all you want, but in the end of the day, you have to read the fine print and make sure you don't waste your time and money. That being said, some other things to keep in mind are categories and sections. Festivals will often have separate sections where they show films that fall under certain criteria. Usually there'll be a competition section, which is the main section where you're competing for awards, but they might have a section for young or new filmmakers. They might have a section that covers a specific topic or genre, like political films or independent films. This isn't the case for all festivals, of course. Sometimes there's only one way to submit and they decide which section they'll put you in. But I've usually seen it such that you need to decide what section to submit to. But why is this relevant? Well, it's that if you realize that the competition section only seems to select higher budget films, you might consider a more targeted strategy that gets your film into a section out of competition. It's better to be playing out of competition than have a whack at competition and get nothing.
What if I got inside the walls, did like, the Trojan horse?
There's a stupid amount of film festivals out there nowadays, and most of them aren't going to get you anywhere.
And how's that working out for you?
Like all matters of quality, you need to be able to wade through the garbage to get to the good stuff. By the way, I'm looking at all of this from the perspective of film festivals as an industry tool to build your career as a filmmaker. There are plenty of festivals that might be really fun and celebrate a certain subculture of film. I'm all for it. I support that. But this is just a reminder that I'm evaluating film festivals right now through a very specific lens, which you don't have to if you don't want to. Now let's get back to talking about garbage film festivals. When you're starting out, it's hard to tell the difference between legitimate, ambitious festivals and some random nothing event. So always dig a little deeper. Read the reviews of the festival. Look at the photos to see the turnout and the kinds of people that attend. See if they offer other things beyond the screening. Do they include industry events, for example? You'll notice while submitting if a festival attracts film professionals and buyers. Like I mentioned in the last video, they'll ask for contact details for your distributor if you have one. They'll ask for permission to make your film available on their closed online platform for industry attendees to check out. You'll start to realize that what a festival that's relevant in the industry asks of you is different to what a standard film festival asks of you.
Realize who the fuck you're talking to.
Like I said in a previous video, take a look at established lists of relevant festivals if you're not sure where you should be submitting to. For Europe, as before, I suggest the Short Film Network from the European Film Academy as a good place to start. So once you start applying to film festivals, you're going to start getting emails from festivals asking you to submit your film. This is usually kind of bullshit or just a small festival trying to gather more submission fees. But use your own best judgment. Maybe you did just get a random email from Cannes out of the blue.
Wow! The land of make-believe!
As a little side note, it's good to keep an eye on what rights to your film you're giving to the festival while you submit. Sometimes they want to be able to use snippets for promo and ads, fair enough, but I've seen them try to sneak in a bit more than they're due, so just check it carefully that you're not accidentally signing away important rights to your film. So to summarize, keep a good overview of your submissions, always double check the rules and regulations, and do your research to find out the right festivals and avoid scams. Then all that's left is to submit your film. And then you wait. In the next video, we'll talk about actually attending film festivals and how you can get the most out of them. Thanks for listening, and see you soon.